This character taught us that survival is possible, that no matter how broken your past may be, change is always within reach if you're willing to fight for it. This is John Marston, a man raised in violence, shaped by chaos and trapped in a life he never chose, who slowly became something greater than the world he came from. The John Marston you meet at the beginning of the story is nothing like the man he becomes by the end, and the way Rockstar tells this transformation creates one of the most powerful character arcs ever written in gaming. Today, we're gonna talk about how John Marston didn't escape the outlaw life. He outgrew it, and in doing so, taught us that true survival isn't about staying alive, it's about becoming better. Fleeing from an orphanage at a very young age, John Marston learned that early survival meant standing alone. By the age of 11, he had already committed his first murder, shooting a man in what he later claimed was self-defense. A year later, he was caught stealing by homesteaders in Illinois and was nearly hanged for it. And then that's when the moment Dutch van der Linde stepped in. Dutch saved the boy's life and took him under his wing, introducing him to Hosea Matthews, Arthur Morgan, and the rest of the van der Linde gang. And for the first time, John belonged somewhere, and in that belonging, he found purpose. He quickly grew into hardened outlaw, running alongside the gang across the American frontier, committing robberies, raids, kidnapping, and killings, all under Dutch's philosophy of freedom. Alongside Arthur, John became one of Dutch's proudest prodigies. Many in the gang, including Arthur himself, believed John was Dutch's favorite, his golden boy.
I've never been more proud of you than I am right now.
And with that trust came belief. John fully embraced Dutch's ideals, convinced there was meaning behind every crime, that their way of life stood for something greater than the world they were fighting against. But life has always a complicating certainty. Later, a woman named Abigail Roberts joined the gang, and she would later become John's wife and the mother of his son, Jack. For the first time, John was confronted with responsibility, with family, and the possibility of a life beyond violence, and it terrified him. Fatherhood exposed everything he wasn't ready to face: his recklessness, his fear of commitment, the weight of Abigail's past. All of it pushed him further away from the people who mattered most.
Is that it with you? Tahiti or killing? Come on, John, please try.
Try what?
We gotta live somewhere for more than just a few weeks.
Torn between survival and responsibility, John did what he had always done. He ran. He left the gang for over a year, and when he returned, something had changed. He began to see the cracks forming in Dutch's ideals, the uncertainty, the decay, that slow collapse of everything they once believed in. But pride kept him distant, silent, and guarded, especially with his family. Yet as the gang's decline accelerated, John refused to wait for the inevitable.
We ain't got time for this, not now.
Go. Be a goddamn man.
Where others hesitated, he acted. And with the help of Arthur Morgan, his path out of darkness towards clarity finally began to shape.
I'll be okay, but do it for me. It would make me feel...
During the epilogue of the game, which in my opinion is one of the most powerful sections of Red Dead Redemption 2, we witness the true process of adaptation. Now playing as John, we see him attempt to build a new life. One without the guns, crime, and the running.
I'm gonna go see what kind of good, honest work I can find. Grave digging or polishing some rich fella's boots or some such.
Me too.
But an honest life for himself, for Abigail, and obviously for his son Jack. With little money and bounties still hanging over his head, the Marston family spent years wandering through the northern states, constantly on the move. Every time John slid back into his old habits, their cover was blown, forcing them to flee once again.
We gotta find someplace to lay low.
They could never stay in one place for long, something that deeply strained his relationship with Abigail. And then came Roanoke Ridge. John shot and killed a man who, according to him, attempted to rob him. But later, he admitted the truth. The killing was driven by just suspicion, a glance. You could say that it was a reflex shaped by years of violence. And that is the core struggle of adaptation. When crime is all you've ever known, leaving it behind is not just difficult, it is unnatural. Violence lives in your instinct, and it lives in your muscle memory. And no matter how hard you try to change, the past keeps pulling you backwards. The family once again fled, drifting across the countryside, hiding from the law. And as the years passed, John's inability to commit to a peaceful life began to fracture what little stability they had built. You can definitely say that Abigail became the anchor of John's transformation. She was often hard on him, forcing him into very uncomfortable decisions, but only because she, like John, was chasing something neither of them had ever truly known. It was peace and a future.
I miss Mr. Pearson.
John Marston, you're such a pig. All right, it's getting late.
A life that didn't revolve around survival. But John still struggled to let go of his old solutions. One day, while taking Jack to the post office so they could spend some time together, John crossed paths with men searching for him, the remnants of the violence of Roanoke
Are you
Ridge.
John Marston? You sure look like him.
Forced to kill again to protect his son, John saved Jack's life, but instantly shattered his innocence, cause he saw everything, and that moment changed everything. That, combined with John's violent method of recovering the stolen cattle for his employer, it became the final breaking point for Abigail, and then the next morning, she left, taking Jack with her. But it is here that the new John Marston truly begins to emerge.
Listen, I've begged you, but it don't seem to make much difference.
John throws himself into honest labor. He works harder than he ever has, becoming indispensable at Pronghorn Ranch, so much that he earns the trust of its owner, who later vouches for him so he can secure a bank loan, a loan that allows John to finally begin building the home Abigail always dreamed of. And in this, John begins to understand something important about himself. He's a proud man, and that pride once made him a great outlaw. Now, it pushes him to become something else. And if the age of outlaw was over, it was time to be good at a different kind of life.
I hope you and Jack are doing well. I remain a fool, and I'm sure I shall die a fool. I miss you and the boy more than I can express. Please, come back to me.
John later reunites with two old members of the gang, Charles Smith and Bill Williamson. But this time, things are different. The violence no longer excites him, and that chaos no longer calls to him. That vision that I talked about earlier is clear: bring Abigail and Jack home. But adaptation is never linear. The honest work John is doing barely covers the cost of his new life, and that financial pressure begins to mount. And that's when Sadie Adler steps back into his world, offering him high-paying work as a bounty hunter. And once again, John starts to slip. And remember, it's not because he wants to, it's the only thing he knows he's really good at. And through these jobs, we see the conflict tearing him apart. His pride pulls him towards violence, and slowly that weight of this contradiction begins to settle until Sadie says something that changes everything. Very important. She admits that she cannot continue working with him, not if it means watching him die. And in the silence that follows, John finally understands.
I don't know if your ranch and your kid and your wife are things I want to be worrying about when I hear a gunshot.
This life isn't just dangerous, it threatens everything he's trying to build. And after finishing his home and finally reuniting with Abigail, things finally begin to feel whole. For the first time, John has a taste of stability, a future shaped by routine, labor, and family. But something lingers, a wound that hasn't healed. And when Sadie returns with the news of Micah Bell's location, John's instincts betray him. And without hesitation, he agrees.
Yeah, I'll ride with you.
Abigail begs him to not go, terrified that everything they fought for could vanish in a single moment. But John sees this differently. To him, this isn't about revenge and not about closure.
All this?
It's about Arthur Morgan. It's about the lives lost, the betrayals, that suffering, and in that moment, you can say that both sides are right. Abigail's fear of losing everything, and John feels that he owes everything. The confrontation with Micah marks the final step of John's transformation, the last echo of the man he once was, colliding with the man he has become. And when it ends, John finally returns to the life he fought for, his family, and his future. But as Red Dead Redemption would later show, this past never truly lets go. John Marston teaches us something simple yet painfully difficult. Change is possible, not overnight and never without struggle, but it's within the right of the people around you and the courage to face who you used to be. And like that, even the most broken lives can begin again. And throughout this journey, we lived every step of the transformation with John. We witnessed the fear, the anger, and the resistance. And slowly, the game revealed how deeply our choices and our willingness to change shape the paths we walk. Adaptation is the hardest stage of growth because it demands that we let go of the certainty, that comfort and identity we feel so good with. When you look back at the man we first meet in Red Dead Redemption 2, you will never guess that this reckless outlaw will become a devoted father and husband, a man willing to abandon everything he once believed in just to protect the peace he had spent his entire life searching for. And maybe that's the true meaning of redemption. Not erasing the past, but choosing to become better in spite of it. This is why John Marston stands at one of the most powerful character arcs ever written in gaming. A story not about survival, but growth. Thank you, Rockstar, for reminding us that even in worlds built on violence, hope can still take roots. If you enjoyed this journey, consider leaving a like and subscribing. More stories like this are on the way, and I'd love to share them with you.
No, John, I don't like it. I love it. It's home.